Eyes closed, everyone. All right, my lovelies, how you all doing?
Excellent. That was Kieran's.
That's my one job.
Tonight, so.
Yeah, I haven't been cooking. It's all I've been doing.
Thank you so much for coming. I want to just say a few things before we get started. There are so many people that we love in this room, and we wouldn't be here without you. So I want to say thank you to Joni, Kieran's wife, my family, my brother, my daughter, Dr. Sharpie. Thank you so much, Dick and Barb, Tim and Patty. Thank you all for making this possible. Today marks 10 years exactly since we held our first event.
I think we got a letter of occupancy like
an hour ago? Yes, yes, that's right. So 10 years ago today, we held our very first event, which was the inaugural Champs fundraiser for Mott Children's Hospital. And over the course of the weekend, $375,000 was raised through many efforts beyond the farm, supporting the U of M Congenital Heart Center and the Charles Woodson Center. And so we're so happy to have you here today. After we serve soup, Kieran's going to talk about the food and the menu, which we're really excited about. And then when we serve dinner, Dr. Sharpie is going to talk a little bit about what our relationship has meant to him in the hospital over the past 10 years. And I'll talk a little bit about what the 10 years have meant to Kieran and I as well. But for now, we're just going to start with a toast, if you would mind joining me. So here's to the past for all we've learned together, to the present for all we share now, and to the future for all we've got to look forward to. Cheers. All right, let's serve some food.
Okay, I'll go make sure it's out. I get to go back in the kitchen.
Yes.
I know you want to turn around and look at my beautiful face, all except Joni. Joni sees it so often, she's happy with it. You can keep drinking the beautiful soup in front of you. I want to tell you a little bit about the food that you've already had, what you've got in front of you, and what's to come. It's going to be a little bit of memories of my childhood, as most of the food at the farm is, and most of my mum's recipes. But I wanted to tell you what's in front of you right now. It is beyond our favorite soup that we make here. You have all probably had it before, but this is our crookneck squash soup. This thing is a rock star. It's done us nothing but the greatest things. If you can think of a butternut squash that's got a really long neck that winds in on itself, we grow them out here. The reality is you can't really buy them commercially because no one wants to ship them. You can't put them in a crate and organize them. So the only opportunity is to really grow them yourselves. It's got a slightly nuttier taste. It's got lots of cream and butter. Some of you know my past, but I was French classically trained, which means we put butter and cream in everything in equal proportions. And tonight will be no exception of what you've got coming. A little bit of the stuff that was downstairs. So there was a little harvest table that was right in front of the fireplace. I'm going to keep my eyes open for Hannah. We have a running joke that whenever I talk, I close my eyes. I'm going to try, Hannah. I'm really going to try. Downstairs on that harvest station, did any of you get any of those little cheesy biscuits? So you've probably all heard me say, this is my mum's best dish. This is my favorite thing. Those are rockstar winners. They're literally Parmesan butter, flour, a little bit of cayenne pepper, and sesame seeds. Rightly done in the right proportions. You got to freeze things. My mum made things as complicated as possible as she could. But those little biscuits remind me of home. So I was texting with my sister. I'm like, the house smells like German beef and cheese biscuits right now. It was like being 13 at home back in my house in Stoke Gabriel. Down there as well, you had some of our lovely arugula. You had our balsamic reduction, our gastrique that was down there. You also had some of our really wonderful broccoli that had been fried with a little bit of seasoning. So the same seasoning that's going to be in your, how do you say it, Tabitha? Hassen. So the German beef, that's all I really know it as the beef entree. It's the same seasoning. So think clove and allspice, had a little bit of garlic powder in there, a little bit of our dehydrated onion over the top of that. You also had some of our homemade sausage. Tabitha's husband, John, has been probably making the sausages, a year and a half now for us. That had some of this beef and tomato reduction sauce that was over the top of it. Equally yummy. You can turn that into its own dish, basically a sausage hot pot in your happy place. And then you had basil madeleines. I don't know, Tabitha and I lost our minds probably like 4 or 5 years ago with basil madeleines for us. We were originally going to grow them on an island in the pond. No, you were. I wanted to grow them on an island in the pond. We built it, and then it never came to fruition, and then we removed it. But this is some of the basil that Henry, my son's been growing in the front garden this year for us that we picked. You had a little sweet basil cream underneath it. Really fantastic dish. So then you've got your entrees. It's family style. It's a lot. My family would kill you with kindness of the amount of food we were going to put in front of you. This will be no exception tonight. So the first dish is that German beef. If you can think of a French onion soup, but instead of the spices that we've talked about that you would have in there, the thyme, the rosemary, strangely no thyme and rosemary in there tonight. Tabitha knows I love those. You got things like Worcestershire sauce, port, red wine, star anise, and clove, reduced down with caramelized onions and garlic. And then you've had beef that's been dry aged for 12 weeks. It's been sous vide'd for 36 hours. It's then been re-sliced, put into that sauce, and then baked again. And then we made a rye bread crust that goes over the top of it. And then you put about a pound of butter over the top of each one of them. It's so good. And then there's a tiny little bit of Calvados that finishes the top of it. I know. Our other protein this evening is going to be the Hales ham. So the smokehouse that's next to us, built in 1888. This was probably maybe the third or fourth dish when I was a chef that I got to say, this is my recipe. When you travel as a chef, you always cook as somebody else's recipe. You have to do it. The chicken liver pate that you had downstairs was the very first thing that I wrote down, like, this is actually my recipe. The ham was probably like the third one. So this has 28 ingredients in it. It cures for 2.5 months. It then gets smoked overnight, and so sometimes I bring my kids and we sleep in the kitchen to keep the fire going overnight, which is kind of fun. That's going to be grilled, and then we've got this beautiful Calvados reduction jus that's going to go on the side of it. So that's the gravy that's going to be on the table with you. You've got pomme puree. So Gordon Ramsay, I did work for him back in the day, but his boss was Marco Pierre White. Marco's pomme puree has more butter and dairy than it does potatoes, which means it should break. So there's a point where if you add too much, it splits like a dressing. This has 62% fat to like 38% potatoes. It's got a lot of clarified butter and heavy cream. It's got nutmeg in it. It's got tilla-cherry black pepper and a little bit of sea salt in there. It's basically potato soup that's just thick enough to call it mashed potato. You've then got my favorite vegetable being parsnips. Those have been pureed down with more clarified butter, a little bit of sumac and lemon in there, and then there's some fried chickpeas that we got served with them as well. You got minted peas, because who doesn't want minted peas at any time of the year? There's a butter reduction that's almost finished. We're just splashing heavy cream over the top of them and crushing them. You've got French baguettes from the bakehouse. They've just finished coming out of the oven. They're going to be drizzled with 10-year-old aged balsamic that I reduced. Don't judge me. I took like 3 bottles and took it down to a demi-glaze. And then there's some honey butter. So we have had bees on the property multiple times of the year. We haven't had them in, 4 years now? But we had 6 jars left over. So one of the jars came up last night. And so the honey butter's got some of our last bees' honey butter in there as well. Tabitha, what didn't I say? Did I do them all? Oh, herb roasted tomatoes. So in the off season when tomatoes aren't quite there, we get some hoop house tomatoes. These have been on a bed of herbs and have been roasted for 16 hours in the lower oven. They've got a sea salt, garlic, extra virgin olive oil, and then a bed of all the herbs that are in the front gardens for us. For dessert, you're going to have creme catalan. Oh, I did minted peas. Tabitha wasn't listening? Whoa! Somebody write that down. So then, creme catalan. How many of you have had creme catalan before? No? Okay. So how many of you have French, backstories that I could get in trouble with? No? Okay, great, perfect. So I'm British. We like France, we don't like the French. So creme catalan is the Spanish bastardization of a creme brulee. So instead of baking it and setting it in the mold, you can make this mix and set it in anything. So it's the easier, better version of this. It's got lemon, lime, and orange that's gone into it. The citrus kind of sets it a little bit like lemon curd, which was one of Tabitha's favorite things, and it's set solid. With that, we've got Scottish shortbread. We've overbaked some of our Scottish shortbread that's going to be crumbled on the top with a little bit of citrus on the top of it. It is a winner. If you ever want to, creme catalan is by far. Did I miss something, Joni? You're looking at me like I missed something. Not at all. Okay. Really? Excellent. So the other thing to remind you, in front of you, you've got some of our china. And we sometimes don't always remind our guests of this, but this is my grandparents, my great-grandparents, Tabitha's family's china. We've now got Joni's, Elnian's china. We've got Joni's great-grandmother's china is going to be in here as well. I think this is my mum's china, just so you know. This is my favorite one of them all. You got the winning china. It's those kind of things that are meaningful out here, like some of the herbs that we grow out there, some of the rhubarb, some friends and family, the same that we've got here. So the people who've brought those things are super meaningful to us. Should I get in the kitchen and get the rest of your food? Okay, bye. Sorry, Tabitha. All right, my lovelies. Bringing you back in one more time.
Hi. How was your dinner? Excellent. Yes. Kieran is enjoying a plate as we speak. I will not be eating until I'm in my pajamas, but that's okay. Keep eating, please. But I wanted to just share a little bit more about what the past 10 years have been that is publicly appropriate to talk about. So 10 years ago today, I was on this pergola sneaking sips of champagne with Caitlin Doyle from the Roadhouse. I had a stress cold sore because we were having our first event. Oh my gosh, we were so excited. And after the event ended, we took our gator, our farm vehicle, and we whipped around this parking lot after dark. We were just like, can you believe what we have done? If you don't remember 2014, I'm going to tell you a couple of things about it. In 2014, the podcast Serial had consumed all of our attention, and we really wanted to know who murdered that poor girl. In 2014, same-sex marriage was not yet legal in the state of Michigan, and so when we opened, we talked about the bridal suite and the groom space. Now we talk about getting ready space, because not all weddings have brides and not all weddings have grooms. I'm going to share this for my daughter Morgan. Taylor Swift released her 5th album in 2014. I don't know how many she has now, but it's more than 5. It was a sad year for me in that Robin Williams died. How many? 11 albums. She is as successful as we are. Almost.
She is happy.
She's probably not as, well, I think she is. Okay. The song Happy was the song of the year. That'll be stuck in your head now. Guardians of the Galaxy premiered, which I share for Kieran, my Marvel-loving partner. And that terrible video, Gangnam Style, hit 2 million views on YouTube. So that's 2014, if you can hearken back to then. And what I want to share with you is a vision that we wrote about what 2024 would look like when all of those things were happening. For those of you who don't know, we're big fans of visioning at Zingerman's, and to us that's a picture of success at a particular moment in time. And so I'm going to share just a little bit of a vision, a very long vision we wrote about what it would be like in the year 2024, because we were clueless in 2014. But I hope that this paints a picture of the kind of business that we wanted to have and the kind of place that we wanted to be. The sun is shining and the air is crisp, a beautiful day at Cornman Farms. It has been over 10 years now since our first event was held at the farm. We relish our decade of memories, recalling the joy and wonder our many guests and employees have experienced. First taking in our manicured lawn and lovingly restored red barn, smelling the rich soil as it's tilled in preparation for the planting season, reveling in the peals of laughter from generations of families playing long games together, the wonder of the first time of really feeling the heft of a ripe heirloom tomato or the woolly caress of a sheep. I do want sheep. It's this poetry of senses that really communicates that at Cornman Farms we're different, and it's real. The delight of this discovery is immediate and intense. To us, this is providing the Zingerman's experience. Our connection with our guests extend beyond the event or the day itself. We are part of the memories being made, and they have become part of our family, and we of theirs. Nothing makes us happier than seeing the children of our couples frolic on the farm during private visits and public events.
Yeah, farm babies.
And it's mind-blowing to think our first generation of farm babies are turning double digits this year. We're successfully hosting events 11 months a year, which seemed impossible in 2014. During November, December, and January, winter wedding packages fill every weekend. The midweek calendar has a melange of private, corporate, nonprofit, and public farmhouse dinners, summer and garden parties. We now have a robust set of regular instructional opportunities, from cocktail, canning, and farming classes, and I know many of you love our cocktail classes. These are all the ways the community can have a hands-on Cornman Farms experience. Our public events build awareness and generate excitement around topics and traditions, from the Greater Midwest Foodways Alliance, which Karen is still working on, wild rice harvest, and fish curing to charcuterie. We use these meals not only as a way to nourish our customers, but as a way to also feed their excitement for learning about food histories and cultural experiences. Led by Cornman Farms employees, passionate Z-Cobbers, and national treasures, the variety of events that Cornman encompasses have helped us become a third place for people of many backgrounds, locally and from places all around the country. Our property has become home for the Z-Cobb Cookbook Library, and the Great Food Group uses the White House as their test kitchen. Our authenticity resonates with every person who visits the farm, and we're successful as a result. In fact, our sales this year broke $2.5 million. What did we do?
2.448. It was like...
We put it in the universe. We share this success with all of our employees, understanding that they are also the threads that come together to form this rich woven tapestry. All Cornman Farms managers reap the rewards of a 1% profit sharing program as long as they're employed here, and our gain share program allows every employee to benefit. Moving to transparent salaries years ago was scary, but Tabitha and Kieran both felt it was in line with our guiding principles and the next evolution of open book management, and it worked.
That was 10 years ago we wrote it?
We wrote it. We have seen that transparency really does build trust. Starting wages, bonuses, and pay raises aren't arbitrarily decided behind closed doors. Farm employees understand their roles, the dollar value the business is able to assign to those roles, and how additional compensation can be earned. Everyone is excited about our biggest gain share game, in which we earn paid time off during our 4-week winter shutdown in February and March.
That's coming soon.
I hope so.
Any day, yeah.
Kieran is right where he wants to be. Since Tabitha became managing partner, Kieran has been able to build relationships with the community, sit on a couple of local boards, like SOS, and build long-term, meaningful relationships with business leaders and spend more time in each department. Having a second managing partner brings a different skill set and has restoked the fire in all of us. When Tabitha became managing partner, a rotating focus schedule was established, allowing them both to be included in all aspects of running the business. Both managing partners, equal in the business, are actively focused on all 3 bottom lines: driving great food, generating increased sales, and continually raising the level of service provided. At the same time, they feed their personal passions along with their mutual appreciation for each other's strengths and weaknesses, realizing the diversity of opinions, skills, and ideas they bring to the table will continue to benefit the business and the employees for years to come. Since becoming managing partner, Tabitha has been able to spend time in and on the business and on herself regularly. Even though the boys are now in 10th and 12th grade, 10 years ago that seemed wild, Tabitha still volunteers at school and acts as a junior achievement volunteer every spring. When not working and volunteering, she's often found reading while the boys fish off their boat. John had one request for this vision and our life in 10 years. It's got to be that he has a boat in 2024. We're not quite there.
We're all okay with that.
But it's only May. It's only May.
Don't read it, man.
So when you tell him how much, just focus on the sausage and less on the boat. In the 10 years since we have written that vision, 458 employees have worked at Cornman Farms. I mean, it's amazing. 113,442 people have come to an event or a pop-up at the farm. That took me a really long time to figure out.
It's going to be easier to track now.
That's right. We held a prom because Kieran had never been to prom and didn't know what a terrible idea that was going to be.
3 of them.
I know.
3 back
I
to
know.
back.
We catered a wedding in Austria. We survived a pandemic. We hosted my daughter's wedding. We've held multiple events for the NFL, a bunch of people I don't know who they are. We created the Tiny Wedding, and we're on CBS. And we were on 90 Day Fiancé with our girl Hannah. That's right. It's funny what people get excited about. And so I want to end with the last line of the vision that we wrote 10 years ago about this year. Employees, partners, and guests alike respect the roots that have been here for decades, and we're thrilled to be able to plant our own. Coming to Cornman Farms is like coming home. So thank you. Thank you. Yes, Cece.
I didn't do it.
Can you tell us about how you came up with the name Cornman?
Okay. There's two stories. One of them is true, and one of them is fun. So Alex Young, who started the agricultural department, which was Cornman Farms back in the day, it was two things. It was either that it was the little figure that he'd got on his business card that was created from a McDonald's figurine that the art department had made for his business card. That's the truth. I have the little plastic figurine somewhere in the house. The slightly more colorful story that we have told for years is that Glenn Roberts had grown red Trentino corn. It was completely wiped out in the United States. When the farm first started, Glenn Roberts had found red Trentino corn back in Europe, brought it back to the US, and he gave Alex some to start the farm. And so it was a way to keep that seed stock alive. That's the colorful story that we've always told for years, but the figurine is really the one. And for years and years, it stayed that the same. Is that right? You have another one?
The corn guy.
Yeah.
Is from Polenta that we carried on the website.
No, it's the plastic figurine.
But he looked at that image, and I think he just took it. I don't know anything about the figurine, but I want to see it.
Yeah, so on his business card, it was the corn, right, with the mussels. Yeah.
And I think that's what came out from that plastic figurine from McDonald's, or what it was. I've got the plastic figurine in the shelves. I'll bring it out. Other questions? This is
No, we're
fun.
not doing Q&A. We're turning it over to Dr. Sharpie.
Okay.
We'll be downstairs. We're happy to talk to you during dessert. But I also would like to give Dr. Sharpie a chance to just say a few words as well. So, but Kieran, he says you can't leave. You can keep eating, but you have to stay up here.
Can I get a lip kiss?
No, God. Being his partner is so hard.
I asked at least
I know. You did ask. We're making progress.
Well, first of all, Tabitha, Kieran, huge round of applause. I mean, come on. This is an amazing dinner. We're so grateful to be here. Our journey starts 10 years ago. We started a fundraiser for Mott Children's Hospital and the Congenital Heart Center. Many of the folks you see here today who've been involved with Cornman Farms, with the Zingerman's family, have been involved with the Congenital Heart Center and Mott Children's Hospital throughout its history. I knew Ari way before Cornman Farms existed. I knew Chef Alex and Kieran and Tabitha when they worked at the Roadhouse, and we became great friends. And so when they opened this amazing property, it was a great honor for me to have an opportunity to create a fundraiser here for the children at Mott Children's Hospital. The passion for trying to give back to the community and their commitment to our program and our children has been astronomical. I can't think of better partners who always said yes, who were always there to try to create a special evening for our great guests and our philanthropic donors. And so we started with something called the Greasy Hutchison Woodson, which was started with 3 now former professional athletes, but at the time were in the prime of their careers, who wanted to give back to University of Michigan and who had visited Mott Children's Hospital every Thursday night during their time as undergraduates. And they really felt something important that was palpable when they were towards the end of their careers, to really do something different. And we took advantage of that to really get them engaged, and then we brought them to Cornman Farms, and we had this opportunity to do something special, and these folks were like, sure, we'll do this, and they hadn't even really opened yet.
We didn't have a liquor license.
I mean, So we're trying to figure this out. The three of us, we're just saying, yeah, sure, we'll just fake it and you'll make it. And we had this great opportunity to bring people to this special place and show them the vision that these folks had for what Cornman could become. And it was an incredibly special night. It was actually the night before my wife, our anniversary is tomorrow. Thank you. And we did it, that's right. We did it on the 16th, which is the day before, 10 years ago, exactly this night. And we had this very special night. And Kathy and I spent the night at the White House, whatever you call it, in whatever, slept on the floor. It's like, I don't know what the hell we were thinking.
You had an air mattress.
It was an air mattress, but
Monsters.
it was supposed to be some sort of, whatever suite. It was nothing like what it is now.
Tried to convert it really quick.
We both got up and thought, oh my God, we're too old for this shit. So we got out of there. But anyway, it was a fabulous time. And I think about the passion that they have for giving back across the years. So this fundraiser was the sort of the biggest initial opportunity. And the partnership was I remember Kieran just being so passionate about this and so excited. But over the years, we've had family dinners, we've had fundraisers. We now do something called Save a Heart, which is the month of February in the state of Michigan is for kids with heart disease. You may not know, but 1 in 100 kids are born with heart disease, so this is a very common diagnosis. Miss Hannah has one of our special patients as her daughter. And it always gets me. But anyway, so we love to do things with the Cornman Farms family because Tabitha and Kieran, Joni, they mean so much. And our sons work for Zingerman's Roadhouse and have. And it's a very special partnership. It's gone on now for well over 10 years. And I can't thank them enough for what they've done for our program, for our children's hospital, and for this community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so
Well, I'm leaving the stage.
finish, yeah. You can cheers, finish eating. We're going to join you downstairs for dessert. Yes, we're going to go downstairs whenever you are ready for dessert. So, oh, they're getting up. They're getting up.
Before it's done, thank you, John, for what you just said and did. But Dick and Barb here, and you guys know the grit and the energy and the thoughtfulness that these two people put into keeping this going. It could have disappeared 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
It could have just folded, but these guys found a way to keep it going. So here we are at Cornman Farms now, enjoying this dinner, and it might not have been here, but for the passion and the the love that you guys put into this place. And so I just want to raise a glass here. If anybody's got a glass, I want to raise it to Tabitha and Kieran
Thank you.
for your
Cheers.
hard work and what you did.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim.
Here.
Cheers. All right, stop looking at me.
Going downstairs.
All right, just enjoy your dinner. We'll see you downstairs.